Ever notice how you can sense bad vibes the second you walk into a room? Or how you change who you are depending on who you're talking to, like flipping through different versions of yourself? That's not normal. That's not something everyone does. That's what happens when you grow up with a narcissistic parent. See, most people learn to trust their feelings. You learn to ignore yours. Most people had childhoods. You had training camp. And now you're walking around with these strange abilities that make you feel like an alien sometimes, like you're playing a different game than everyone else. I'm about to show you 4 traits you probably have right now, traits that feel like curses but are actually hidden advantages if you know how to use them. And I promise you, by the end of this, you're going to understand yourself in a way you never have before. At the end of the video, I give today's shout out to 1 subscriber. Stay tuned to see if it's you. Let's jump in. 1. The mind reader. Okay, so imagine you're 5 years old. You walk into the kitchen and you immediately know if today is a good day or a bad day. How? You just know. Maybe it's the way the plates are being put away. Maybe it's the silence. Maybe it's the way your parents' shoulders look. You became a detective without even trying. You had to, because in your house, missing the signs could mean getting yelled at, ignored, or blamed for something you didn't do. So, you learn to read people. Not just their words, their energy, their mood, the little things, like how someone breathes, how they look at you for half a second too long, how their voice sounds just a tiny bit different. This is what I call the mind reader trait. And here's the thing. Most people go through life completely blind to this stuff. They trust people at face value. They believe what they're told, not you. You see through it all. The good part? You can spot a liar from across the room. You know when someone's pretending to care. You feel fake love before it even gets close. You protect yourself in ways other people can't. The hard part? Your brain never rests. It's always scanning, always checking, always looking for danger, even when there isn't any. It's like having a smoke alarm that goes off every time someone cooks toast. You walk into a party, and within 5 minutes, you've already figured out who's angry, who's sad, who's pretending, and who's about to start drama. And while everyone else is having fun, you're sitting there thinking, why do I always notice everything? Because you were trained to. Your childhood was like a school where the lesson was pay attention or get hurt, and you graduated top of the class. But here's the truth. This trait that exhausts you is also the reason people can't fool you anymore. You've been lied to by an expert, your own parent. So now, regular liars are easy to spot. Manipulators don't stand a chance. You've seen their playbook before you could even read. That's not a weakness. That's a gift. A painful one, but a gift. 2. The shapeshifter. Here's a question. Who are you when nobody's watching? If you hesitated just now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Children of narcissistic parents become masters at changing themselves. Not because they're fake, but because being yourself was dangerous. Think about it. Around your parent, you learned to be small, quiet, perfect, whatever kept the peace. You didn't throw tantrums. You didn't ask for too much. You didn't even cry too loud because you knew it would make things worse. So you became really, really good at being what other people needed. At school, you were the funny one. At home, you were invisible. With friends, you were the listener. With strangers, you were confident. You switched faces like changing clothes, and after a while, you got so good at it, even you forgot which face was real. People think they know you. They'll say, oh yeah, I know her, I know him, but they don't. They know the version you showed them, the one you thought they wanted to see. And, honestly, that's exhausting. Because deep down, there's a voice asking, does anyone actually like the real me? Or do they just like the performance? Here's the upside. You can fit in anywhere. Seriously. You can walk into a job interview, a first date, a family reunion, a stranger's party, and people will think you belong. That's a rare skill. Most people struggle to adapt. You do it without thinking. You can talk to anyone, understand anyone, make anyone comfortable. That's not small. That's powerful. But here's the painful part. Sometimes you look in the mirror and feel empty, like you're a costume with nobody inside. Like you've been so busy being what everyone else needed that you forgot to be yourself. And listen, I need you to hear this. The real you is not something to hide. The person you are, when you stop pretending, when you stop adjusting, when you stop shrinking, that person is the one worth knowing. You spent your whole childhood being told that your real feelings, your real thoughts, your real personality was too much or not enough. That was a lie. The truth is, you're more interesting, more lovable, and more alive when you stop performing. But I get it. That's scary. Because what if people don't like the real you? Here's the answer. The right people will, and the wrong people were never yours to keep anyway. 3. The always-on machine. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you rested without feeling guilty? I'm not talking about scrolling on your phone. I'm talking about real rest, where you do absolutely nothing and feel okay about it. Can't remember? Yeah, that's this trait. Children of narcissistic parents don't just work hard. They work like their life depends on it. Because growing up, it kind of did. Failure wasn't just disappointing, it was dangerous. Rest wasn't relaxing, it was lazy. Asking for help wasn't brave, it was weak. So you learned to push, to grind, to keep going, even when you're tired, even when you're sick, even when every part of you is begging to stop. You became the person who finishes things, who doesn't quit, who handles pressure like it's nothing. And sure, people admire that. They say things like, "Wow, you're so strong. How do you do it?" But the truth? You're not doing it because you want to. You're doing it because you don't know how to stop. Here's the upside. You will outwork almost anyone. When things get hard, you don't panic. You've lived through worse. Stress doesn't break you. Chaos doesn't scare you. You were raised in it. While other people are falling apart, you're 3 steps ahead, already solving the problem. That's not luck. That's survival skills. But here's the cost. You don't rest. You don't play. You don't enjoy things because you're always thinking about the next task, the next goal, the next thing you have to prove. And deep down, you're terrified that if you stop moving, people will see you're not actually that special, that you're not enough, that everything you've built will fall apart. Listen to me, that fear is lying to you. You don't have to earn your place in this world. You don't have to hustle for love. You don't have to be perfect to be wanted. Rest is not weakness. Rest is how you recharge. Joy is not selfish. Joy is how you remember you're alive. You've been running your whole life, and yeah, it got you far. But at some point, you're allowed to sit down. You're allowed to breathe. You're allowed to just exist without proving anything. Because surviving is not the same as living, and you deserve both. 4. The emotional vault. Here's the one people don't talk about enough. And honestly, it might be the hardest one to carry. If you grew up with a narcissistic parent, there's a good chance you don't trust your own feelings. Think about it. When you were sad, you were told you were overreacting. When you were angry, you were told you were disrespectful. When you were excited, you were told to calm down. Your emotions were never valid. They were problems, inconveniences, things that made your parents' life harder. So you learned to shove them down, lock them away, pretend they don't exist. And now, you're an adult who doesn't know how to feel things properly. Someone hurts you, and instead of getting mad, you wonder if maybe you deserved it. Someone loves you, and instead of accepting it, you wait for them to leave. Something good happens, and instead of celebrating, you brace for the disaster. You don't trust good things because good things always came with conditions. Love wasn't free. Praise had strings attached. Safety was temporary. So now you live with this emotional vault inside you. All these feelings you never processed, all this pain you never released, and it sits there, heavy, making everything harder. The upside? You're calm in a crisis. When everyone else is losing it, you stay steady. You're the person people lean on because you don't fall apart. But the downside? You're so disconnected from yourself that sometimes you feel numb, like you're watching your own life happen instead of living it. Here's what you need to know. Your feelings are real, even the messy ones, even the loud ones, even the ones that don't make sense. You're allowed to be sad without a reason. You're allowed to be angry without being perfect about it. You're allowed to feel things deeply and not apologize for it. The people who told you your emotions were too much were wrong. They were scared of feelings because they couldn't handle their own. That's not your fault, and it's not your job to fix. You are not too much. You were just raised by someone who was too little. So there you have it. 4 unusual traits that almost every child of a narcissistic parent develops. 1. The mind reader. You see what others miss, but your brain never stops scanning. 2. The shapeshifter. You fit in everywhere, but sometimes you forget who you really are. 3. The always-on machine. You outwork everyone, but you don't know how to rest. 4. The emotional vault. You stay calm in chaos, but you're disconnected from your own feelings. Now, here's the big truth. These traits can destroy you or build you. It all depends on what you do with them. You didn't choose to develop these. You had to. It was survival. But now that you're older, now that you're out, You get to decide how you use them. You can let them run your life, keep you stuck, keep you exhausted, or you can take control, learn when to turn them on and when to turn them off. You're not broken, you're not damaged. You're someone who survived something really hard and came out with abilities most people will never have. You read people others trust blindly. You adapt where others freeze. You push through things that would break someone else. You stay steady when everything falls apart. That's not weakness. That's strength. Hard-earned, painful, real strength. So the next time someone makes you feel like you're too much or not enough, remember where you came from. Remember what you survived. Remember that you're still here, still standing, still fighting. You already proved you're enough just by existing through all of that. Now go show the world what happens when someone who survived the impossible decides to actually live. Shout out goes to Will Shift. Appreciate you.